All right, guys, the age-old question, the thing that everybody is hoping to do when they open up a vintage pack is, can you profit? And the first part of that question is, what set do you open if you are trying to profit? Now, the set that I'm going to be opening up today is both a set that I think is reasonable to profit from, but also something that I do have access to and that I have on hand. Enter Japanese Jungle. So it depends on where you get this, who your supplier is, who your connections are, but honestly, a fair price for a box fresh pack. So you're gonna get, which this is, so you're going to get a much higher quality than your average loose pack that's been in someone's collection for, you know, a couple decades now. Like I said, a fair price is about $200 all in for a box fresh pack. So that's where we're gonna start. That is our starting number, $200, nice round number. Every single one of these packs is guaranteed to have a holo. So all of the holos in Jungle, you know, your Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon, Snorlax, Scyther, you're going to get one of them. You are not going to get a bust pack. You are not going to get a dud pack out of this, which does make it a decent candidate for trying to profit. There's also 9 other non-holos, and you're not going to get an energy. And there's very good commons and uncommons in this set, such as the Jigglypuff, Eevee, Pikachu, Meowth, Cubone. There's a lot of really desirable non-holo commons and uncommons in this set. So we will see what we end up getting, obviously, and we will look at the raw value of these cards. We will look at the PSA 9 value of these cards and the PSA 10 value of these cards and see what you would actually need them to grade at to profit, if it's even possible. But obviously, guys, the main point of opening up something like this is really just for fun. It is for fun. So $200 is what we're starting with. Let's go. I'm a little bit nervous. These things are always fun. I've opened up maybe a dozen, 2 dozen of these on the channel's history. And it's been fun every single time. Actually, you know what, guys? Let's just pause for 1 second and let's look at the holos in this set and how much they are worth in PSA 10s. All right, so we're on Card Marvin. Here is the set list for the set. You guys might recognize some of these. This is the English set, but it's the same holos that are in the Japanese set. We have Clefable, Electrode, Flareon, Jolteon, Kangaskhan, Mr. Mime, Nidoqueen, Pidgeot, Pinsir, Scyther, Snorlax, Vaporeon, Venomoth, Victreebel, Vileplume, and Wigglytuff. So that is 16 possible holos. Let's look at what maybe we expect to be on the higher end of this list and what maybe we expect to be on the lower end of this list and maybe what that range looks like. All right, so we're over here on Price Charting, which is a really good site to kind of get your bearings with how much you think a card might be worth if you pull it. So in a perfect world, what I think is going to be the highest value card, or one of the highest value cards in this set, if we can manage to pull it, would be the Snorlax. Now the Snorlax ungraded is literally only a $16 card. That is not very high, but we probably cannot go off of the raw value for these cards because we're pulling them fresh out of a pack that is fresh out of a box. So we're expecting these to be hopefully at least PSA 9 or PSA 10 quality. So if we're lucky enough to pull this card and we grade it, even in a PSA 9, this card is only $75. That gives us $100 to make up, plus the cost of grading. So not that great. You really need these cards to get the PSA 10, otherwise it's not super valuable. Let's look at maybe 1 or 2 more cards on the high end of this list, and then let's look at maybe on the lower end of this list as well. All right, so looking at the Jolteon, this is about a $264 PSA 10, but still the 9 is only $60. Honestly, guys, if you're looking to collect slabs from this set, not necessarily for investing, PSA 9s are really, really, really nice cards, and you can get them very affordably. But if you want, the goal today is to profit from this pack. The goal today is to profit from this pack. So we would hope for a PSA 10, but definitely not guaranteed. This isn't looking too good. This isn't looking too good. Let's look at the lower end of this list. Okay, here is the Vileplume. So we are looking at the Vileplume now, only an $8 card raw. In a 9, it's only $37. That's not great. In a PSA 10, it's about $140. So honestly, if you can get a PSA 10 holo out of any of these packs, out of any jungle pack, you're doing pretty good. And then from there on out, it's going to rely on whether or not your commons and uncommons in the pack are one of those commons that we talked about in the beginning, and can they also grade a PSA 10. So without further ado, guys, let's just open this pack. Let's just open it. All right, so fortunately I started opening this earlier, but it's definitely still sealed. Have not pulled out these cards yet. For those of you who do not know, like I said, you are guaranteed a holo in this pack, and that holo will be on the front. That holo will be on the front. The centering on the back isn't perfect, but honestly, it is definitely within margin. It's not bad. So I don't see any whitening. I don't see any issues on the back. So it's going to come down to the front of that card for whether or not we think it might get a PSA 10. All right, let's go. What are we going to get in this pack? All right, not a bad start. The Rapidash is a pretty good uncommon in this set. The Parasect, not great, but not bad. We have the Executor. And you guys won't be seeing prices as we go through this, but I will make a spreadsheet and I will make, we'll look at the prices of these cards raw. You'll see that raw is not the game that you want to play. And then we will look at the prices of the 9 and the 10 for every single card we pull. We are on to the commons now. So this is actually where the non-holos in the set where you can actually make some of your money back. Like I said, we want Pikachu, Eevee, Jigglypuff, Cubone, Meowth. Any one of those is really, really big for us because we get a Venonat here. A Bellsprout. Oh man, we are not doing great. We are not doing great. We got an Execute. Okay, we got a Cubone. That's gonna help us a little bit. Whoo, and a Jigglypuff. That might be our last one. We might have one more. Nope. This is it. Oh! No shot! I wasn't ready. I thought it was gonna be a Wigglytuff. Oh my goodness. Let's go. That is going right into the collection. That is freaking amazing. All right, now let's look at the possibility of us getting a 10 on this. The centering is not perfect, but I don't think it's off by enough to detract from the 10. It's gonna rely on whether or not there are scratches in the holo, I think. That is what's gonna hold us back from the 10. If we get held back from the 10, we literally just pulled the most valuable card in the set. That is crazy. That is actually crazy. I did not see that coming. So I might fare just a touch better than you guys if you want to make profit yourselves on a pack like this. You can't hope. You couldn't hope for a better outcome, to be honest. So let's look at the value of this pack as it stacks up raw, PSA 9, and PSA 10. So yeah, give me a few minutes to make up a spreadsheet. But for you guys, it's going to be as quick as that. All right. I don't know if that got synced up as well as it should have, but hopefully it worked. Here is the list, guys. Here is the list. And there's a few things I want to talk about, but let's kind of dive into it. First up is let's look at this raw total of the cards. $31 raw if I were to sell these at like a garage sale or I don't know, at a card event, like a card trading event or trading card event. I would never sell these raw. It just doesn't make sense to sell these raw. It's only $31, which would give us a profit of about minus 170. We're looking at $15 to grade everything other than the Snorlax, and then about $19 to grade the Snorlax. So once we look at grading, we are gonna be down another $154 just for the cost of grading, which brings us to a total cost of this pack at about 350 bucks. It's not a small number. Looking at the PSA 9s and the PSA 10s, of the cards that almost never sell as graded cards, they're really artificially high. What I'm gonna do for the PSA 9, I'm just gonna make that $15 plus the cost. I'm just gonna say that it's basically, you're gonna break even there. So that's what I'm going to assume for all of the PSA 9s. And then for the PSA 10s, I'm literally just gonna, I think like a round number of maybe about $25. And I think that seems a lot more fair. I don't know if you guys agree with me, or if you don't agree with me, let me know in the comments down below. But I am not going to take credit for those really strange sales. I'm just gonna kind of say those are about $25-ish slabs if they get a 10. Maybe they're more, maybe they're less, let me know. The Cubone and the Jigglypuff, there are enough sales for these to actually use these numbers. You know, $25 to $30 in a PSA 9, maybe it's a little high, but it kind of makes sense. And then $70 for the Cubone in a 10, $50 for the Jigglypuff in a 10. Those are real numbers. We can use those towards our profit. But we want to look at this Snorlax. In a PSA 9, it is an absurdly low $75. Honestly, I think that number might be a little bit low PSA 9 of that Snorlax, I'd be really happy to own or buy a PSA 9 of that card. But the PSA 10 is $500. $500. So now we can kind of go down here and look at the profit of a PSA 9. If every single card in here got a PSA 9, we'd only be down about $100, which obviously you don't want to be down at all, but it's really not that bad. So we were lucky enough to pull that $500 PSA 10 Snorlax. So if I graded these in a perfect world and they all came back as a 10, I might actually be able to sell these for close to $800 and make $400 to $500 on this pack, which is pretty crazy. And I don't think there are a ton of packs in the Pokemon TCG where you can do that. Again, that's not going to happen every single time, but I do think that it's possible. I think we proved today that with these cards that this is a possibility. You know, you can do very well, and I think we did do very well, and we pulled a very high quality Snorlax. I think this thing does have a chance at getting a PSA 10. Definitely not guaranteed. But if it does get a PSA 10, we will have done very well today. Let me know, guys, down below what you thought of this. Do you like buying these vintage packs? Do you buy them for profit? Do you buy them for fun? Do you buy them for the chance to do what we just did today, which is pull my favorite card from the set, my wife's favorite card of all time, I think, in the Hollow Jungle Snorlax? Let me know down below, guys. Either way, enjoy yourselves, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.